You may have noticed that narcissists have this tendency to want to provoke people and do or say things to try to get a certain reaction out of people. Even if you're not actively in conversations with a narcissist or you're not interacting with them in any other way, if if you spend time around narcissists, you'll see that they sometimes out of the blue they'll do something or say something to try to trigger the person in some way to get some type of emotional response out of them. And oftentimes they'll do or say something which is either, giving the person like a backhanded compliment to make them feel uneasy. But at the same time, on the surface of it, it's almost like they're complimenting the person, but actually it's a backhanded compliment. So the person just doesn't feel right about it. That's one thing the narcissist might do to trigger people. Also, sometimes narcissists will just ask overly personal or sensitive questions, inappropriate questions, or make inappropriate remarks just to see how the person reacts. But what they're ultimately trying to achieve and what they want to see when they do those things is to see that the person feels uneasy about it, that they feel uncomfortable, and that they feel sometimes speechless, not knowing how to respond. But that the person at the same time wants to give a response, but they feel kind of speechless. Narcissists really, really love putting people in that uncomfortable situation where they feel like they can't win because the comment that was made to them, they feel that the response that is meant to be elicited from them is just, there's no good response because it's just the comment or the question itself was targeted at the person in such a way to offend them or inflict some type of damage. So oftentimes when narcissists do or say things to trigger you, they want to trigger you in a negative way. They love like I said, making people feel uncomfortable, uneasy, and things like that. Occasionally too, they'll do or say things to try to elicit praise from you because, you know, they like getting emotional reaction out of you one way or the other. If it's getting a negative emotional reaction, that's good. They like that. That's good supply. But they also like getting a reaction out of you in such a way where you see them in a higher light. Maybe they say something that kind of makes them look good, and then you compliment them, you praise them for it, you smile and say good job. So they'll do things as well to get you to give them positive attention because it strokes their ego, and again, that is good supply to them. And they like the attention. Narcissists do like the attention from as many people as they can get. But this whole thing around the narcissist trying to trigger people and get reactions out of people. So narcissists, unless they feel that they have some level of control of the people around them, they don't really feel like they have control within themselves. And that's because they don't self-regulate very well. They don't regulate their emotions very well. They don't regulate their self-esteem very well. They don't regulate their sense of balance very well. The way they regulate those things in themselves is by trying to influence those things in other people. So if they can influence somebody else's sense of self-esteem, maybe they can uplift them with a good comment or bring them down by giving them a backhanded compliment or an offensive remark. Because they're affecting the other person's emotional state, the narcissist feels that they have control over themselves. Yeah, it is a bit strange, but that's just part of the disorder. They regulate themselves through other people. And also, if they can get negative or positive reactions out of other people, and they can control the emotions of other people through their comments, they suddenly feel they have more control over themselves. And with the ego stroking as well. So narcissists, they have a very fragile ego, and they want to keep their ego uplifted, but they struggle to self-sustain that ego in a good place. So what they do is they try to get other people to stroke their ego for them. Again, using other people to regulate themselves. So narcissists are always trying to test people and trigger people, and they need to feel that they have enough leverage and control over people that they can, at least for the very most part, get the desired emotional reaction out of those people when they want. Because if they have enough people around them where they can get the emotional reaction out of those people when they want, they all of a sudden feel much more control in themselves. But if they don't have those people around them through which they can, you know, influence their emotions up and down as, the narcissist wishes, if they don't have the people around them as an outlet for them to influence, then they feel lacking control over themselves. They're running low on supply, they're running low on energy, their balance is all wobbly. They don't really have a sense of balance. They become paranoid, they become just generally unhinged. That's where they're always trying to find people, cooperative people as they see it. Cooperative people, reasonable people in their eyes. For the narcissist to be a reasonable person, you have to allow yourself to be subjected to the things they want to do to you. Because everything about the narcissist comes from a very, very selfish perspective. It's most people, it's naturally, everybody has somewhat of a selfish perspective because we are our own beings. But most of us can at least acknowledge that other people are separate beings from us. But for the narcissist, everybody is in some way, shape, or form an extension of them and is out there to serve them. Otherwise, people have no other purpose of walking the face of this planet. So yeah, if you think about it and you just kind of observe, it becomes really clear and really easy to understand why narcissists must always trigger people, one way or the other, for good or for bad. Because if they feel that they can somehow influence other people and control the emotions of other people, in turn, they feel that they have more control over themselves and more control over their own emotions and own feelings. And that's ultimately what they want. They want to feel more control themselves.